Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video on The Flash. Today we're going to be talking about the film. Once again, we have a post-credit scene that has been leaked online. We got to discuss that. Also, the reviews have dropped for the film and we have another article I want to break over. This is like a mini Flash roundup video that I've been wanting to make over the last couple of days. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV videos later this year. Okay guys, so we're not going to be going into spoilers in terms of the post-credit scene because quite honestly, you guys know I've seen the film, and I know that none of you guys have seen the film unless you're a film critic or you work at Warner Brothers or anything like that. So don't worry, no spoilers here. And also, I'm not going to be talking specifically about the contents of the post-credit scene, just about the circumstances around it being leaked. So let's go ahead and get into this. So over the last couple of days, there was reports that a leaked post-credit scene was released online. And of course, I guess James Gunn and everyone who's in charge at DC are going to try and avoid it and take down the clips. I know that they've done that previously in the past when other things have leaked. However, in the case of this, obviously, as I've told you guys, I've seen the film. I didn't actually get shown a post-credit scene because it was a version of the film that was unfinished back in April, and I'm pretty sure they wanted to show it to a lot more people to kind of get an idea of what should be included in the film, especially towards the end, based on fan reactions. And so I believe that they've actually got the final cut now. I was actually invited to a screening, but I couldn't make it. I'm going to be seeing it again this following week. I should actually be attending the premiere in the UK, so very excited about that. I'll of course be making a video on that, and I haven't been able to make my review yet because I saw an unfinished version of the film, and so I need to see the finished version of the film before I can release any kind of review. So that's why I'm not part of the critics or the people online who have been posting about it. Of course, I can give you my reaction to the film, which I have in the past. But anyway, let's get back to the post-credit scene. So they were leaked the other day, and as I said, I didn't see any post-credit scene, so I've been avoiding what this is online. And although I'm not surprised because so many scenes from films that are very important have leaked online, like it's just a common occurrence. People will love to go into the cinema and be like, haha, I'm sneakily recording this and I'm going to leak it online. Of course, the studio is going to do their best to take it down so it's not spread all over, but I'm pretty sure it's spread quite a lot. And so, at the same time, I'm a little bit surprised because they've been quite secretive about what that ending is going to be. And I actually made a video on this earlier this week. I believe that's one of the big reasons why they showed the film to critics in an unfinished state, in order to try and avoid those leaks coming out. However, since they've been showing the final version of the film in the previous week, I believe someone actually recorded it and leaked it online. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised because they've kept it under wraps for such a long time. They did a really good job, and it's frustrating that it's actually happened now. But I guess it is what it is, and I just wanted to update you guys that yes, this scene has been released online. Don't go watch it online, but instead wait to watch the film in the cinema as it was meant to be seen, just like I'm going to be doing, and I'm very excited to see it early next week. Okay, so for now, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. Like I said, I have two more topics to talk about in this video. First things first, the Flash reviews have been released. So if you go check out Rotten Tomatoes, which I'm pretty sure you guys probably have if you're interested in seeing how the film's doing, how it's been received, and if you're a Flash fan or a DC fan, I'm pretty sure, as I said, you've done that. It's on 71% right now on Rotten Tomatoes. It's fresh, which is actually a really good score. Honestly, I was quite surprised that it got such a high score because obviously this film is going to be a little bit controversial due to Ezra Miller, and I think a lot of people are going to be swayed by that. Obviously, that's all down to the individual person, how you feel about the situation and how you feel about the film as a whole. Of course, some people like to separate the artist from the art, but some people don't, and that's fair enough, you know. But in terms of the reviews, there's been 117 reviews published. I think a lot of people are in a similar situation to me right now, where we want to post a review, but we haven't seen the finished version of the film. So I believe in the next week or so, that number from 117 reviews is going to go up. I will post my review up on my channel once I've seen the film on Tuesday night, so come back then. We're going to be discussing it. Obviously we'll get into spoilers later after the film has released and after you guys have seen it. Then we can talk about the ending, the post-credit scene, who shows up in the film and everything like that. Of course we all have our theories, but we're just going to have to wait and see. The Flash film is coming out very soon, so no worries about that. But yeah, the critic consensus is that The Flash is funny, fittingly fast-paced, and overall ranks as one of the best DC movies in recent years. I've seen that actually a lot online, that people are saying it's one of the best DC films. I'm not going to comment on that personally until I've seen the final version of the film, because as I said, I saw a very unfinished version of the film back in April and now it's June, so I'm sure the film has changed quite a lot. For now, let's go over a few kind of brief synopsis bits of what people thought of the film. So I'm reading these out from Rotten Tomatoes. So someone from Metro newspaper in the UK says, "We're all feeling a bit multiversed out right now in the wake of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, but The Flash still speeds along nicely. No mean feat when it's 2 hours and 25 minutes long." Yeah, that's right. It is pretty long, but I guess it's not the longest superhero film, and I'm looking forward to Spider-Verse. I'm sure most of you guys have seen it already in the cinema. I need to go ahead and catch it. But from the Toronto Star, someone says, "The story gets messy, multiple cameos and a rushed intro for Sasha Calle as Supergirl, but I like how it follows Keaton's war cry, 'Let's get nuts,' because definitely the film gets nuts." The next one is from Consequence. They say, "Even in a vacuum or an alternate universe with no Spider-Verse or MCU, The Flash would just feel middling." So I guess she's kind of middle of the road on what she's thinking. Tim Roby from the Daily Telegraph in the UK says, "The film's parade of 'remember this' in jokes makes it the opposite of a reset. It's more like a scratch record." That's fair enough. That's Tim's opinion about what he thinks about the film. Obviously, a lot of superhero films, including the recent Spider-Man films as well as the Flash film, have many characters returning from the past. It's just like a big thing to do right now, and so yeah, it's all about nostalgia, about looking back into the past. So in this case, we know we have Michael Keaton as Batman, we have Ben Affleck as Batman, and so I understand what Tim is saying. Like, yeah, it's definitely playing into the nostalgia. Okay, so from Empire magazine, they say, "This is set to be one of the final entries in what we know as the DCEU. This is also one of the best, a witty and warm buddy comedy that deserves to be more than just a flash in the pan." So he's wanting another film after this, is what I take from that. Of course, this is one of the final entries into the current DCEU. Recently we got the Shazam film, and we have Black Adam, and now we have The Flash. We know we have Blue Beetle coming out later this year, as well as Aquaman. Obviously, we still have a few DCEU films to get through, but with this film being based on Flashpoint, of course people are expecting things to kind of be reset, and I believe that is one of the reasons why they've shown it to so many critics in an unfinished version, so that they can kind of round out in the way that they want to. I believe they shot a whole load of footage extra, according to Andy Muschietti, the director of the film. And I don't know if that's because they knew this was coming, but obviously it's very helpful for James Gunn and Peter Safran and the way that they want to take the DCU forward. So yeah, it's definitely its own film, but at the same time, just like the way Shazam Fury of the Gods ended, they've definitely crafted it in order to kind of push forward the DCU that they are trying to create. And so I'm pretty sure that's what the post-credit scene and the secretive ending of this film is going to lead towards. Let's go over one more review. This is from Jeremy Johns, a fellow YouTuber. He says, "This is a Flash movie. How is the speed? The speed's absolutely satisfying. It feels fast and it feels hard. There are some effects they do in this movie that enhance the feeling of speed and punch that I didn't see in Justice League." Yeah, I think Jeremy's right. It's definitely different from Justice League, and that's pretty much all I can say without spoiling how they use the Speed Force, how they show Barry's speed. But yeah, it's pretty cool, and I like the way that they've gone about things. Okay, so that does it for the kind of critic roundup in terms of the reactions. It's 71% right now on Rotten Tomatoes. It's definitely going to change as more people see it, as I said before. But we got this one final article I wanted to briefly go over. It's titled, "How the Flash, Many Years in the Works and Beset by Turmoil, Finally Reached the Finish Line." This is from the Associated Press. So we're going to go over this. There were many stressful things about making The Flash and getting it to theaters. It was shot in the middle of the pandemic. There was isolation from friends and family for the 138-day shoot. There were A-list schedules to coordinate for cameos. There was star Ezra Miller, who after Wrapped made headlines for legal run-ins amid a mental health crisis. And behind it all, a studio undergoing leadership changes and rethinking the whole DC Comics strategy. So this is what the article is about. I'm going to go over a few paragraphs for the end of this video, because I think this is quite insightful in terms of like how they created the Flash film and the stuff that they had to go through. Back in 2014, things started taking shape as Warner Bros. Plotted out a shared universe of DC Comics films, including a standalone Flash film starring Ezra Miller as Barry Allen, who would first appear in Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. But even that wasn't so straightforward, with disagreements over tone and scheduling conflicts making things complicated. Several writers and directors cycled in and out of developing The Flash, including Phil Lord and Christopher Miller from the Spider-Verse films and other stuff like that. And there were a bunch of other directors and writers who were involved, and release dates were pushed back over and over and over. Ezra Miller even worked on their own treatment of a script at one point. And so, yeah, it just went through this complete mad cycle before the Machetes came in and actually did the thing. And they were finishing It Chapter 2 back when the studio approached them about The Flash, and they didn't have concerned themselves with the messy marathon development history. They just wanted to figure out if this was worth several years of their life. In the story, Andy Muschietti found a compelling emotional core, the relationship between Barry Allen and his mother, who was killed when he was a child and whom he wants to go back in time and save. Back to the Future, which is referenced quite a bit in The Flash, was one of their favorite movies too, so they were in. And I think that is one of the core parts of Barry's story, especially in Flashpoint, is the relationship between him and his mum. Obviously, his mum always dies in the comics when he is young, and same thing goes for the Flash TV show. And that's been one of the greatest things with Grant Gustin's Flash, seeing him interact with Michelle Harrison and the way that all went down. So I was naturally very excited to see this in the Flash film, and this is me talking here. And then Birds of Prey screenwriter Christina Hobson took a crack at the story and came out with something that was both fun and emotional, and introduced the multiverse to the DC canon with the Flash film that we have today. And so in Barry's quest to save his mother, he accidentally gets tossed into another timeline and meets a younger, different version of himself who gets swept up in the journey. It allowed for a lot of possibilities, including bringing Keaton back in a movie that also had Ben Affleck's Batman. So yeah, obviously she adapted the Flashpoint storyline, made it different, made it her own, made it more like what they were trying to achieve back when the DCEU was planned to be like this. But while making the film, big leadership changes were afoot at Warner Bros. And specifically DC Studios, where new co-chairs and CEOs, James Gunn and Peter Safran, were tasked with plotting the future of the new DC universe, from Superman to Batman and beyond. And that new vision won't officially begin until James Gunn's new Superman in 2025, but he's also said that The Flash, though technically from a previous regime, resets the entire DC universe. And so this is what we've been talking about. The ending and the post-credit scene is definitely going to be leading towards this new DCU that they are trying to create. But then during extensive post-production on The Flash, star Ezra Miller also started making headlines for a series of arrests and reports of erratic behavior last year. They were arrested twice, and there were many different occasions of him lashing out, being arrested and everything like that. And so some questioned whether The Flash would be shelved because of this, but the studio remained committed to releasing it this year on June 16th, even without Ezra Miller promoting the film. Of course, The Flash being so expensive, they would never want to throw it away, so they've gone ahead with it. Sasha Calle is promoting the film as Supergirl, as well as Michael Keaton, who plays Batman once again in the film, as well as the directors. They've been heavily promoting it. Warner Bros. Has been putting a lot of money into it. There's been a lot of TV spots, and definitely they built hype, but it's been very expensive for sure. And the article rounds out by saying there are even rumors that the Muschietti's DC relationship will continue with future films, but right now the focus is on The Flash. Andy Muschietti says, "Let's wait and see." So that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Once again, you can find the link to this Associated Press article in the description below, and I hope you guys go see The Flash on opening day. I'm really excited to see the film, share my proper thoughts with you guys once I've seen it this Tuesday. Obviously you'll see it a few days later, but nevertheless, come back. I'm excited to do more Flash content to do with the film. So for now, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. But for now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and for now, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.